the prize was a Gwen Stefani concert. So they set up a stage, and I was walking back, and I was like, "Is that Gwen Stefani?"
What?
And it was. So we also got a free Gwen Stefani concert.
That's incredible.
And this is all in like a 4-hour shift. I just like...
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the Stories on Tape podcast. I'm your host, Josh Robinson, and today's storyteller, she is an actor, a director, a Green Team member, and one of my newest friends here in New York City. It's the one and only Joana Tsuhlares. Joana, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I have loved getting to know you and Mackenzie and Aaron and all of our friends at Broadway Up Close. But before we get into any of that and all of the fun, do you have a story that you can tell us that might share a little bit about who Joana is if we've never met you before, or just like a favorite story you love to tell?
Yeah. Okay, I actually did think about this one. I told
Perfect.
Josh before we started, I was like, I did not prepare, but then I was like, I actually have thought a lot about this one. I don't know if I have like a specific like moment, but I think it's something that feels foundational into who I am is how I grew up and the people I grew up with. And honestly, the people I grew up with were all like storytellers. Like I was raised with like this like mythology of like our family and how we got here and who we are and all these things. And I grew up in Appalachia. I grew up in the northern panhandle of West Virginia in a little unincorporated town called Short Creek, West Virginia. And my family on my dad's side has been there for around 100 years, which is really cool. They immigrated from Greece. And I bring this up because I feel like I grew up in a way that is a little bit old-fashioned. I grew up with a single dad, and I was right next door to my cousins who were my Aunt Stella and my Aunt Goldie. They were like in their 70s and 80s through my growing up years, and they were like my two grandmothers, and there was like no lock on their door. I would be able to walk down there at any point, and like I would not even like say hi. I would just like walk in, open their fridge, and like make myself a sandwich. Like it was like I was that welcome in their home. And no matter how, if I was really down, if I was really tired, if I was really excited, if I was like whatever, like I was welcome in their house for however long I wanted, and or however long they wanted. Like when they were older and they were struggling, if they were uncomfy being by themselves at night, like I was home because I was during the pandemic, I took a semester at home, and sometimes they'd be like, hey Joey, my family calls me Joey, can you spend the night and like stay here and like make sure everything's all good? I'm like, yeah, of course. And there were also times when I was not feeling well when I was younger and I had a sick day and my dad was at work and I would stay with them. And there's something about that like community that is like so wholeheartedly taking you in as you are at any time that I strive to achieve again in my life, which is why I bring that up as like who I am. Like I think just that sense of community and living together with the people around you at wherever they are in that moment was established for me at a young age, and that's something I strive to achieve as I grow up.
Joana, I love that. That makes me feel like warm and cozy, and like that should be a TV show. That should be like a Hallmark movie or something.
It was a little bit like, it's a little bit like the Friends entrance. So like, you know, you're just like walking about, you're like having conversation with so-and-so, and then like a cousin walks in and did they knock? No. Are they just like talking about their day? Yeah. Like that's kind of a little bit of what it was like.
I love that. Well, one of my questions was going to be growing up in Appalachia. I think I lived in Chattanooga for the last 2.5 years, and I think that's technically Appalachia, but like I feel when people say Appalachia, I feel like you were like what we think of. Like you said, unincorporated town, West Virginia. Do you have a story, or like did you grow up hearing about the like I know there are many like myths and legends, and I don't know if monsters is the right word, but I feel like there are like these well-known characters in like Appalachia lore.
Yeah. So I get this. There are two parts of that question of like where my experience of Appalachia and then Appalachia lore. So I'm gonna split it up in two.
Perfect.
So Appalachia is a very broad and diverse place. So my little Appalachia disclaimer. So like I said, I grew up in northern Appalachia, and that's very different from other experiences of it. For those of you who don't know, what is Appalachia? That's a good question. So there are several different like ways to think about it. One, there's like a geographical thing, the Appalachian Mountains. They go down from like, I believe, Georgia all the way up into Canada. And in fact,
Yes.
they are really old. They are older than the rings of Saturn. They are so old that the hill country in Scotland are the same mountains and hills that are in the United States, because they're from when the continent was one. The continents were one.
Did not know this.
Yeah. So that's you can think about it like that. Or there's this thing called the ARC. I forget what it stands for. Bad Joanna. But
Text on screen here to let us know what it means. Yeah.
Thank you. The ARC was like a federal commission from the government that established like this socioeconomic boundary of people who were impoverished and disenfranchised. And I believe it was in the 60s that this happened. So it's also like a cultural and socioeconomic boundary of a region within the United States. Disclaimer. That's a disclaimer. And within that boundary, there are a lot of different experiences. So where I grew up is not your like what you think of as like, oh, I'm in the mountains, I'm in a holler, and everybody works at a coal mine and that kind of thing. That's a very like broad and generalized description. But there are places where like coal is the primary industry. You're very isolated. You are in mountains. That is an experience. Where I grew up is more steel mills. So I grew up along the Ohio River, and steel mills were a very big thing. Fracking was a very big thing. Where I grew up, 10 minutes from me was a steel mill. Across the road was a fracking site, and then around the corner was a coal mine. So all those things existed, but in a much more diverse way than in other places in Appalachia. And also there was more economic prosperity in the place where I lived in comparison to other places in Appalachia.
Okay.
That being said, there are a lot of things that are similar. There are a lot of like things that connect all of us who live in that place. But there are differences. For the people who are from Appalachia, this is important. I know you're probably like, Joanna, shut up. But
No, I love this.
There's a lot of the people don't realize the complexity of the complexity of the economic and cultural heritage that exists in that place. And I don't mean that to be exclusionary, but like, but yeah. Anyway, I digress. So, yes, I grew up there. It was very cool. I love the place. Oh, wait, other thing. Sorry, I'm rambling. But also, there are two experiences within my family. So, my dad's side grew up in Short Creek, like I said, which is in the northern panhandle. My mom's side is a little bit more complicated and a little bit more like older to the region. So like they're like Scot-Irish. My dad's side was Greek, so they immigrated more recently is what I'm getting at. And my mom's side, I believe, came with the potato famine.
Okay.
And they lived in central, like West Virginia. I believe they were in like, some of them were in Clarksburg, some of them were in Glenville. And then later on generations, my mom grew up in Cameron, which is in like the more southerly part of the northern panhandle. And then has like settled like around the Tiger River and in Mon County, which again, for those of you who are not from West Virginia, I'm sorry. But
Google everyone.
Yeah. But there's definitely like a different cultural experience of the space between the two sides of my family. Anyway, I digress. Sorry. You asked about fun magical creatures.
No, I love this.
I love how I was like, let's talk about federal commissions. And you were
Instead,
like, I want to talk about Mothman. Yeah. But yeah, but fun creatures. Yeah, I think there's definitely like a unique connection to land in Appalachia. And also like it's mountainous and like, or hilly, depending on where you are. And like a little bit creepy sometimes. Like it's dark and that's a real thing. And there are many fun creatures. The one that I can think of is Mothman. And I don't know if you've ever seen the statue of Mothman that exists. Did I show you?
Not in person, but I've seen pictures of it, and it is wild.
It's wild. The butt. Wait, pull up the picture of the butt. Like, put the butt somewhere.
Here.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Mothman. I should know like the details of the Mothman story. I just know that he is a creature that exists. Has something to do with a bridge collapse? Question mark.
Didn't he like supposedly cause a bridge collapse?
I think that's a part of the story. Yikes, I should know this.
That's all I know too.
Yeah,
so if you know more, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, this is all I know, and I know that this epic statue exists with like a very pronounced butt.
And sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like that's all we need. Okay. Quick question. This has nothing to do with are you able to turn the volume on your microphone down at all?
Yeah, I am. There you go. Is that better?
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. You were just peaking a little, and I was like, we're not going to keep doing this when we can fix it. Beautiful.
No, that's so valid. Sorry, I have not used this microphone since I took voice and speech in college. So I was
hey, she's rocking.
Yeah, I was like, I should whip this out for this, like finally use it in this podcast.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So have you had any kind of experience or like with any of those like legend, tall tale type things while you were living there at all? That you remember? Maybe they zapped your brain. Who knows?
Yeah, that's possible. No. Okay, wait, I do have one fun story that my dad will never let me live down. Oh, sorry.
Perfect.
Is that better? Maybe. I don't know. Now I'm looking at the audio and I'm like, oh.
I see. Oh, no, that's great. Yes, yellow's perfect.
Okay.
Yellow's perfect.
But my dad, this is nothing to do with West Virginia specific. My dad was like really wanting me to still believe in Santa Claus, like past the time that I should have, like I didn't believe anymore. And he was like, I'm going to make this happen. Like he still gives me gifts from Santa and I'm 27 years old.
I love that. My grandmother's the same way. She was like, if you don't believe, you don't get presents. And I'm like, well, I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
And so we always used to have, we still have it, but in a different place now, like a Christmas Eve dinner with my sister's side of the family, my half sister's side of the family. And so there was one night, I was probably 9 or 10, fully did not believe in Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And we were driving home and my dad was like, you got to believe in Santa, Joey. Like you got to, giving me like shit about it. And as we were driving home, we look up and there's like a red light in the sky that is like constant and stationary. And he's like, that's Santa Claus. And I was like, no, it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not Santa Claus. We still to this day don't know what it was. Yeah, like it actually is a little bit of a mystery because it didn't look like a plane. It probably was like a satellite or something.
Sure.
But like he still brings it up and he'll be like, you can say what you want, Joey, but we don't know what that light was. So that is like a little bit of like a mystical moment that happened.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have a red light story as well. Have you ever driven through like the middle of the United States, like Kansas, Nebraska, like very flat ever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you done it at night when there are lots of windmills around?
No.
Because they have lights on them, I think in like the center part, like where all the blades are turning, that like rotor part that blink. It is terrifying to drive through that very flat land for, at 10 o'clock at night and all you see are blinking red lights. It is weird.
I don't like it.
I didn't either. And I've done it a couple of times and I'm like, this feels like I get gross chills thinking about it. I don't like it. But thankful for wind power. I just don't like the lights. It's fine. It's fine.
I guess we don't want planes like flying into them.
It's safety, I'm sure. I just don't like how it looks when I'm driving at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. So I want to know a little bit about how you ended up in New York from small town West Virginia. That's always interesting to me when people come from little bitty places and end up in a big place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I started off... Well, okay, I was a little bit fated to go into the arts because my father is a potter and a potter. Shout out Lambros Pottery.
I love this. Do they have social media?
No, he is like, meaning if you go to Tamarack, I don't know if he sells at Tamarack anymore. Oh God, where does he sell?
We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
If you can buy it anywhere, we'll let you know in the comments in the description.
I'll call my dad after this and be like,
Perfect.
Hey, where do you still sell pottery? Because he's in the process of like kind of winding down and retiring. But
gotcha.
But I'm sure you can buy it somewhere. I'll figure it out. And my mom was a pianist, and she also did fine arts. Wait, do you actually want to? I don't have to show you. But she also did art. So I was kind of around artsy people my whole life.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I did like band and such like that, and then I joined the speech team with this amazing man who's still alive. Shout out Mr. Bill Cornforth, who is to this day maybe the nicest, kindest, most amazing person that I hope to grow up to be. Like, he is a saint of a human being, and he was the speech and debate coach. And I joined the speech team my sophomore year of high school, and the speech team at Park has won the state, which is the high school I went to, won the state championship for speech and debate. I don't know what year they're on right now. They're in the 40 years, like 40 something years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it started the year that he joined like the staff at Park, and has gone on until he retired a few years ago. And he taught for 50 years. A little bit of like a side quest story real quick. I'm sorry.
That's the whole point of the podcast, Joanna.
Yeah.
That is why we're here today.
So a few years ago, I love Mr. Cornforth. He made me who I am today. I would not be here in New York. I would not be an actor if it weren't for him. And I wanted to like give back a little bit. So I nominated him for the Tony Award Educator of the Year.
Yeah.
And he got one of the honorable mentions, which is huge. I think
Absolutely.
Like, they get like hundreds of submissions, and they pick like 5 or something like that. And a part of that was I reached out to as many alums as I could from the whole like 40 something years that he'd been at Park, and asked for like testimonials and asked for whatever. I got over 50 submissions back of people writing letters, videos, pictures, all these things. It was an absolutely beautiful experience. But one of the story that I love to tell is he grew up in Woodside. He grew up in Queens. And he joined a brotherhood or an order in the Catholic Church, the Jesuits. And he was like a brother in robes, like the whole shebang, from what I've heard. My dad met him during these times and told me that he was like all like in an order. And he went to this university in Wheeling, which is the town where my high school was, called Wheeling Jesuit. It's now Wheeling University, which was a Catholic institution. And he was an education major, whatever. He found the local community theater and started like being inspired by it, learning about it. I don't think it doesn't matter. And then he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I think I can do theater, and started doing theater with the local community theater. I don't think he's a brother at this point anymore. I don't think he's in robes. And then he started teaching theater at the local jail or the local prison. Yeah. And started doing this program, which is amazing. And he told me about it, and he was like tearing up when I interviewed him for the award. I lied to him, and I was like, I need it for an internship, Mr. Cornforth. Like, I need to interview. And I sat him down for like 2 hours, and
yes.
But he taught at this jail, and he worked with like prisoners who had like, you know, murdered people and done all like had like people who had, you know, made serious mistakes in their lives, and taught them like skills, taught them like how to build sets, taught them how to direct, taught them how to act, taught them how to do, like, ran this theater troupe. And I think the first play or maybe the second play they did was 12 Angry Men, which is wild, which is a wild play to do in this circumstance. And it was so popular and so successful that they toured it around the Ohio Valley, and like took these prisoners that had like done this amazing program and shared it with the community, humanized them, like with their community members, connected people. It was like an amazing thing. He's a beautiful human being. He does amazing things. Anyway, I love that man. Eventually the program got shut down for reasons outside of him, and he went to the high school and started teaching, and changed many lives. But I love that man. Anyway, he introduced me to acting in a more real way. And I got really into it. I auditioned for colleges. He recommended Shenandoah Conservatory. Shout out, diploma. And I went there for college. I was an acting major, BFA. There I did a lot of like, I was just like acting. I was, honestly, I wasn't even doing classical work yet. I was into like musical theater, you know, some straight plays, but I honestly was like, I'm gonna transfer and be a musical theater major at some point, or like I might get a singing minor or like something like that. And then I got into the Shakespeare troupe, SUIS, which is Shut Up at Shakespeare.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And Shenandoah was like perfect because it had these independent companies that we created from the university that would do like rock and roll theater. Like we would just all like go into a basement and do like The Dumb Waiter and like with $75 in a dream. I did not, for the record, The Dumb Waiter did happen, but I did not work on that. I did Ajax, Sophocles in a basement with $75 in a dream. But that would happen. It's like every weekend there'd be like something that people would self-produce completely independent of faculty. So you learn stuff in class and then you'd go out with your friends and be like, okay, let's do it. Let's make this happen. And that's how I got into directing. Is I saw these people that I looked up to in the Shakespeare troupe, which is how I do classical theater now a lot of the time. So like that's how I got introduced to that. And through other like companies, because every company had like a something they focused on. There was like a comedy troupe, there was like a classical theater troupe, there was experimental theater, like that kind of thing. And I got to see these people do like amazing work, and I was like, I want to do that. So I started writing, I started directing, I was already acting, but continuing to act. And yeah, and then all those people were moving to New York, and I was like, let's do it. And I graduated in May. I moved in July. I lied because I was embarrassed because I wanted to move so quickly. I lied and told them I had a job, the people that I was going to move in with. I was like, I have a job, so I need to get up here so quickly, which I don't know why I needed to do that, but I did. And I could have just been like, I want to move up here. And yeah, the rest is history. I did that. Actually, there's another fun little side quest. You can edit out however many of these little side quests you want. I was really lucky. Again, I had a professor in college. She would say this thing that I do like live and die by now. Martha Wallner, shout out Martha Wallner. She would have you roll up your sleeve and look at your arm on the first day of class, and she'd be like, okay, now you have a new tattoo on your arm, and it says community, and that's what you're going to live and die by from here on out. And again, running theme of like community and fellowship and, you know, togetherness of people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel like I've been trying to move about in New York, is like meeting people like yourself and collaborating and doing things. Anyway, there was this company that came to Shenandoah when I was there called Labyrinth, or excuse me, Martha Wallner is a member of Labyrinth, which is why I brought it up, called Bedlam. And they're a classical theater company up here, and they did a production of St. Joan and Hamlet. It was like during a blizzard. It was magical because we got snowed out. The campus was closed, and they were like, we're gonna have a dress rehearsal if you want to come. And it was one where like every act you would get like sent out of the theater, and they'd change the format. Like, so you would go in at the first act, let's say it was in the round, and then you get kicked out, and then all the seats would be in the play space, and they'd be performing in the seating banks, and then you'd get kicked out, and then it'd be a thrust, and then you get and it was a different every act.
Whoa.
It was really cool. And so, but every time we get kicked out, there'd be like more snow. There'd be more snow, and we'd be like, oh my god, can we get home? Anyway, I digress. So I knew these people, and I was like, they're the only people I know who are working in New York, who have like real jobs, like making money through theater. So I emailed them before I even moved up and was like, hey, I'll sweep the floor, like what can I do? And they gave me a directorial observership. And so I like watched their production of Persuasion, my first, like, it was the first week I moved to the city. I was in a rehearsal room. So I don't know how I swung that. And honestly, like, I can lead that to like half the jobs I have now are like runoffs from that first gig. So anyway, I kind of like happenstanced into like reaching out to people and being like, hey, I don't know who you are, but like, I'm Joanna, I'd like to work with you. And then somehow things happen.
It worked out.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I'm learning that here in New York City. It is very much just to like say hi to everyone, email, like just send the email. The worst they can say is no, or they just don't respond at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do respond, and then you get really cool jobs. And then, like you said, that leads to another thing, I just, since I've known you since April, when I started at Broadway Up Close, you have done a lot this year, my friend. I was just looking at your website, and you have things coming up for the end of the year. Yes? Like you're getting ready to help assistant direct a show? Yeah.
So yesterday I just finished, I assistant directed Red Bull Theater had their benefit concert of The Boys from Syracuse, which was so much fun. And yeah, we did that last night. And then I don't know if they've officially announced the show, so I might like not say the title just because I don't want to I doubt I'll get in trouble, but like,
well, let's not chance it.
Yeah, let's not chance it. But they have a production. Red Bull has a production of a classical play. They said it at the benefit concert, so I'm probably fine.
We can bleep it if you find out we can't say it.
Okay.
And this will come out like several weeks from now, so like I'm sure by then we'll be fine. But,
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing a production of Titus Andronicus starring Patrick Page. Yay.
Oh, yes. Okay, I've heard about this.
Okay.
So yes, we're good. And if not, I'm giving you a reaction, audience. Ooh.
But I'm gonna assistant direct that in the spring. So
Joanna.
Yeah. So rehearsals start in January, and that's very exciting.
That's so cool. So, okay, another one of my questions that I had, when you are acting versus directing, what draws you to be a part of a show in those two different fields? Or is there a difference? Is there a similarity?
Yeah, a lot of times I don't get to choose necessarily. I do try to like even it out. So for instance, I started the year assistant directing a show this past spring. I acted in 2 shows in the summer and fall. I assistant directed this benefit concert. I'm assistant direct this show in the spring. I try to even it out like that, where like generally 1-to-1, if I do a show acting, I try to do a show in some kind of directing capacity. But also like you can't always control that. Whatever. So that's, some of it is logistical, just like, hey, I'm a little bit low on acting credits right now. I should probably try to get that, vice versa.
Okay.
The other thing is like a lot of times I don't get to choose. For instance, like when I'm working with Red Bull, that's mostly in like a producerial / administrative / directorial vein. Just because I pick up a lot of hats with them, and I don't usually have an actor hat in that community. I'm not introduced necessarily as an actor first. And so when they, ask me to do a gig, or when however it comes about, it's usually not as an actor. That being said, like the shows I was in this as an actor this past year, it's because I made a relationship with a director, and they know me as an actor, and they're like, hey, I'd love you to be in the show. So a lot, like none of these jobs I have been like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it as an actor. I'm gonna do it as a director. It's like there's a project that comes up. These people know me in this capacity, or they want me in this capacity, and they ask me to partake in that capacity. It's not like an active, oh, you're going to do Titus, but will I do this or will I do that? It's like, I understand that in that space, this is how I function.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, cool. And then you mentioned it just a little bit, but classics is kind of like your bread and butter.
Yeah.
What have you found that you love about doing those kinds of shows?
Yeah, I think there's something about like delving into the language and it like being in your bones in a way that there are just like layers of exploration that I love, that I've later found, I first found in classical theater, I've later found in some contemporary stuff, but I the depth of it I still think is I find a lot in classics. And I don't, it's, I remember when I was in college, I did Hamlet. And which that is a story in and of itself. I played Hamlet in college. It was the second Shakespeare role, the third Shakespeare role I'd ever done. The biggest one before that was Adam and As You Like It, which if you don't know, is someone in like 2 scenes. And then they were like, do you want to do Hamlet? And I was like, me? I mean, yes, but like, are you sure? But I said yes because I was like, I'm dumb if I say no to this.
Right.
And it was like in college. It's like not a big deal, whatever. But I didn't really like Hamlet. I didn't know it that well. I didn't have strong feelings about it. I was like, I know this is important, so I should say yes, but like whatever. And then that was the first time I like sat with a text and I translated like the whole thing in my words. At that point I wasn't doing that. I was doing like all the scenes I was in. And I was like, I just like agonized over this because I was like, I don't know how to do this role. Like, what do I do? And by the end of the show, it was like, you would ask me a question. I'd be like, I had like, I wouldn't have to think about it. I had the texture. Oh, what happens after this line? Oh, this is what happens. Like, I knew the text in my body in a way where I was like, oh, this is different. This is like, I don't know if this makes sense to non-actors, but like there's something where like because it's hard, you have to live with it longer, and then somehow it like sticks to you.
Yeah.
And because I think there's this idea that like people who do classical theater, you read it and it just like makes sense and it's easy, and it's not. It's still really hard, and it still doesn't make sense for a lot of times until you like are forced to sit with it and you're forced to like do it. And when you're performing it, there's something about like you just have to say the words a lot of the time. Like honestly, classical acting in a lot of ways is easier because the text is good and the text will get you there. You just have to say it. And like honestly, but like there's something about like when you're doing a soliloquy and you have the audience in your hand, and you're just like saying the words and you're connected with them, and it's like I don't know, there's something like really special about that. And I think just like the breadth and beauty of the language and the style, like you have asides, you have soliloquies, you have structurally those things exist more in those spaces than in contemporary work. It's just something that I think I get like a high off of, like in performing, but also like as breaking it down or discussing. Like if you want to talk, I don't know, Coriolanus, like I'll sit down with you and let's nerd out. Like there's something exciting about nerding out about those as well.
I love that. I think what's also so cool, especially like just this year, like we had 2 different versions of Tartuffe in New York City, like professionally. Yeah. And I think what's so cool about is those shows have been around for so long that people have been able to be creative with the way they present them. And so it's always evolving still. Whereas like, I feel like, you know, some contemporary shows, you have to do it the same way every time. Yeah. Like, otherwise it just truly won't make any sense. But like, I know a theater a couple years ago was doing 12th Night, but it was a beach party. Yeah. Like, you can like, it's so interesting to watch it change and evolve, but still have like the same meaning and undertones, and you can still get things across. But like, one is a beach party and one's like the way it was written originally. And then another one where like in 80s New York, like it's always so different. I think it's so neat to see it be done like that. Yeah.
And I think like what's fun about it also is time has weeded out the bad ones. Like, you know, Hamlet wouldn't be around if it were bad. Like you would just forget about it. We wouldn't be performing it. And it's actually been fun working with Red Bull is that they pull out like more niche classics, especially for the reading series. And so you get some of the like, I don't want to say they're not bad, but they're ones that are like a little rougher around the edges plays, and you start to see like in a more complex way like the world that some of the biggies were written in, the context of like, oh, before Hamlet there was Marlowe, and then Marlowe was writing this stuff, and that's what led to Hamlet. And like you're given more like Ben Jones wrote this thing, and like you have more of an understanding of like there were less solid plays. I'm not dissing Marlowe or Jones, like but like it's just like there were other things happening that are not classics and aren't solid, or not as like effective today is maybe a better way to put it.
Sure.
But today we don't have that. Everything is happening. Like all the plays are happening in real time. So you have things that maybe don't work, are cool explorations, but don't work. And that's fine. But they're around. And then, you know, maybe like, I don't know, Fences will come out or, you know, Angels in America or I don't know, like the big ones that hit and then like those stand out. But like in the future, all the other plays will probably be forgotten except for like classics.
Right. Yeah. Like we're getting a revival of Death of a Salesman, aren't we?
Yeah.
Or later this season. Yeah. So there are shows. Is there a classic you haven't done yet that you would like to get to be a part of in either acting or directing, producing?
Yeah. I really want to direct at some point in my life. I don't think I'm ready for it, but I would really love to direct Coriolanus at some point. Okay. Which is like a weird take, I think. And as an actor, I'd be dumb if I didn't say I'd want to do Hamlet again. I did it when I was 19 and I'm like, oh God, like, was that my shot? Was that my one chance to do it? I mean, yeah. But also maybe like Lady Percy would be great. Okay. Hermione in the Winter's Tale. Lady Percy is in Henry IV Part 1 and 2. Hermione in the Winter's Tale would be amazing. Richard II. I'd love to do Richard II at some point. There's a lot as an actor that I'd be like, oh, that'd be cool. But yeah.
I love this. We've got a list, and I know we've got so much time. I also love when screen actors, theater actors get to revisit parts that they did, like you said, in high school and college, and hearing them talk about like, oh, I've learned like, oh, the amount I've learned in between doing these two parts, or even like seeing them do it at, 25 and then get to do it again at 40. And it's just like, oh, you have learned so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating also from the inside where you're like, oh my God, people saw me do that. Like people saw me do that. They think that's who I am as an actor. And like, please 10 years later, watch me again. Like, I promise I'm better than that. Like,
I love that. It does exist. That's me in my like probably first 2 years of television. Like, oh, people were watching me bring them the news every morning. The makeup that I was putting on my face alone is enough to just be like, why didn't I listen to anyone that was like, hey, you look orange. Like, you look not good. And I was like, they're so mean to me. They're right. And I'm like, no, you looked like an Oompa Loompa, Josh. Like, let's fix that. So I feel that, I understand that, thankful to be humbled in that way and given the opportunity to be better at it the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we have gotten to know each other and become friends is a little kiosk in Times Square called Broadway Up Close.
The box.
How did you get connected with the green team?
I was deeply unemployed. I was so unemployed. I was like desperately unemployed. And I was like, I will do anything. And I was checking Playbill every single day and applying to like anything that was even remotely relevant to me. And I saw this ad for this box in Times Square. And I'm going to be honest, at first I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I should apply to this. I'm not sure. Tim, it's going to turn good. Don't worry. Tim is our boss.
Tim, if you're listening, just keep going. Just stay with us.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what, Joanna, you need the money. Like, put on your big girl pants. You need to pay rent. Like, you need to apply. So I sent an email, and I think he asked me to like send a paragraph about myself or something. And I was like, and I was like, I don't know. I started writing about like olive oil or something. I don't even know. I was like, I love Greek olive oil, and I don't know. And I like that day, Tim was like, oh my God, let's have an interview. I was like, oh my God, am I going to be employed? Like, yay. And I got an interview, got the job. I was like, oh my God, yay. And I started working the box. So it was just Playbill. And I've been there ever since. Big fan.
And when did you start?
July of 24.
Okay, so like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm if I keep putting these out in the order I've recorded them, I believe the episode before yours is Mackenzie, who is another one of our coworkers. We talked for so long that my camera died, so we're gonna have to do a part 2 at some point. But yeah, it has become like that little green kiosk in Times Square has brought me some great people, and I'm very, very thankful. Do you have a story you like to tell people about working there that it just like makes you laugh, or you're always like, when people ask like, what's it like working in Times Square? Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah. I mean, it's always random. It's always like the most random thing. Like things will walk by and you'll be like, what? Like, what's happening?
Yep.
Like one time there was like somebody who had, I'll get to like a main story in a second, but one time there was somebody that walked by with a keyboard and then just started like smashing the keyboard against the sidewalk, and then like sat and picked up every piece and walked away. I think it was a part of a music video. Like they weren't angry. It was like, I think they were being filmed or something, and like, but we didn't realize they were being filmed at first, and so we just saw someone like smashing a keyboard, and we were like, what?
And are we talking computer keyboard or like
piano keyboard? Big, like a big full-sized keyboard.
Oh.
Yeah. And like there will be other times where, I don't know, just like lots of dogs and sweaters and like people in like interesting costumes. And like I remember I was working with you. Yeah. I was working with you, and there was like 5 guys that came up when we were setting up, and they were all dressed as pirates.
Yes.
They were all dressed as pirates, and they were like, hey, like, how do I get to, I don't know, like Ellen Stardust Diner, or like the N train or something? And I was like, oh, or maybe you answered. You're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I gave them the directions, and they walked away. And I was like, isn't it crazy that a bunch of pirates just asked us directions? And you went, what? You like didn't clock that they were all pirates.
Because by like month 2 of working there, you truly are just like, of course there's 5 guys dressed as pirates and no one else. It's not like there was like it wasn't like SantaCon. It wasn't like, it was just 5 guys dressed as pirates. Yeah. And you just send them away. Yeah. You're just like, yep, that way, go have fun.
Yeah. But my favorite story that I like to tell, which is not like comprehensive of what it's like, but is just as ridiculous as it gets, is a couple of months of me into working there was this like some kind of Wall Street something was setting up a promotional stunt where, and it was maybe 15 feet from the booth. It was right next to the booth. And it was this bell tower. And they were trying to break the world record for the amount of times you ring a bell in an hour.
Oh, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. And so, like, for an hour, they had hundreds of people lined up who would all ring the bell 3 times. Each person would ring it 3 times. And I was like, this is so bad, it's funny. I was just, like, crying, laughing. So it's like, you couldn't think up a worse thing.
To be sat next to with no way to like get away from the noise.
No, you just have to sit in it. And I was like, this is okay. And then it finally ended, and I was like, oh my God, okay, thank God, yay, done. And to go to the bathroom, we go to some of the like neighboring businesses.
Right.
And so I walked to the Hard Rock. And as I was walking, I was like seeing a stage set up. I was like, what the hell is going on? They had said there was like some prize for the people who rang the bell. I was like, okay. And then as I was leaving the like Hard Rock to go back to the booth, it was a Gwen Stefani concert. The prize was a Gwen Stefani concert. So they set up a stage, and I was walking back, and I was like, is that Gwen Stefani?
What?
And it was. So we also got a free Gwen Stefani concert.
That's incredible.
And this is all in like a 4-hour shift. I just like...
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
Did they break the record, do you know?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good. At least something. I think I would have been with you. I would have been mad up to a certain point, and then you just have to laugh. Which is a lot of working in Times Square. You just have to like smile, because Otherwise, you're just going to be miserable up to 7-8 hours while you sit there. So why not just giggle? Like, why not just have a little laugh, roll your eyes a little bit, and then move on? It's insane. I think my favorite story, and I didn't even talk about this with Mackenzie, this can be part 2, we'll get her side of it, was the day that they set up a boxing ring a live full-on boxing ring where people came to watch a live boxing match in Times Square, a block down from us, to the point where they were just filling the sidewalk, and we had to close an hour early because no one could get to us. And so as we were moving things closer to the booth, more people would fill in, and we were just literally running out of room. It was insanity. And I shout out to the Times Square Alliance people and the like patience and just like nerve that they have to work their day to day. Because man, oh man, there are days where I think I would have lost it.
I can't imagine what it's like to work at Times Square Alliance.
Right? No.
No.
Mm-mm.
God bless those
thank
people.
You. Correct. Yeah. And we're very thankful for them. Bless.
Yeah.
I think one of my other favorite stories that I've heard about that you've told me, your brother-in-law is a plein air painter.
Yes.
Is this correct?
This is correct.
Tell me, because he also just recently won like a pretty big competition earlier this year. Tell me, I love this story. I think it's so cool. Tell us, one, what is plein air to the best of your ability, and then tell us a little bit about this competition.
Yeah, of course. So I'm not a painter, so grain of salt.
Yeah, take all of this. Please Google fact check. Thank you so much, everyone.
But plein air painting, from what I gather, is like you go outside and you paint something within like a few hours. I don't know if you can see the painting up here, but that actually is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
I'll move the camera a little bit so you can see it on top of the diploma up there.
Yes, we'll get Joana to send us a picture too, and we'll post it.
I will do that. Oh, but maybe I'll send like, because that's just a study. I'll send you like a finished piece. I'll send you a picture of what he won with.
Beautiful.
But yes, so you go outside, and within a few hours you paint a painting of what you see in front of you. And my brother-in-law is Josh Hoffman. He's on Instagram. He has a website. He sells paintings, all that. And he was invited to participate in the Easton Plein Air Festival, which is, or competition or whatever, which is in Easton, Maryland. And I think like they brought in painters from all over the world, and it's like invitational, and they have 2-3 weeks or something, and they have to paint, I think, within the county line or the city line, or like some within a certain region. And they have to do like a couple paintings a day, 2 or 3 paintings a day.
Oh my god.
Or something like that. They do a lot of paintings. And they go around the city and just paint. And you'll drive around and they're just like people painting. And you'll be like, oh, Susie's over there and Tony's over there, and they have a little easel and they're painting. And yeah, I mean, it was honestly, we went and Josh was like out and about doing like painting, and the family was like, we just stuck at the house most of the time,
right?
Because he's busy, you know, he's painting a lot,
he's working,
but he ended up getting 3rd place, which is like a really big deal. And
that's incredible.
With this painting, I believe it was called Youth, and I'll send it to you. And it was like in the backyard of the house that we were staying at. There was like a tree house, and he painted the tree house. And we were there. We were playing in the pool while he painted it. And like by the time we went inside, he was done, and that was it. And but it was just a really like beautiful paintings, and he's a very talented guy. So I recommend checking him out.
I love that. That is one art form that I have I mean, physical art in general of any kind, drawing, painting, whatever. I do not have the brain that gives me the ability to do that. And I know some people say it's like a skill you can learn, but I feel like to some degree you have to have some kind of eye for it. And in my brain, I can see most things I want to create. As soon as you give me the materials to make it happen, it's gone. You're getting a stick figure at best.
Yeah.
It just is. Are you any kind of artsy like that at all?
No.
Okay.
Like it's funny. I see it most with my family who are musicians. Mainly my brother is a guitarist, and he now plays other things. He plays old time music, which is like traditional Appalachian, American music. And he'll talk to me about things like, oh yeah, like this chord or this da da da. And I'm like, he talks about the logic of like the structure of what he's doing. And I'm like, no, absolutely. I think like acting is, it's vibes. Even directing, it's vibes. It's like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. Move over there. It's not hard. But it really is vibes. But when you're talking about like painting and music, there's like a structure to it that I'm like, I can't process that in real time. Like no. And then my dad, he does chemistry to get the glazes to do what he wants to do, and if he does it wrong, he can poison you. Like no, absolutely not. Like no.
I love that. Okay, but I will say, I think some of like music painting is also like, you just have to be able to like hear it. Like, you know, like you can learn scales and you can learn the like chords or whatever, but like feeling it to be like, oh, could be a song, I think is similar to acting and directing. Like, yeah, it's a vibe, but also like will you talk real quick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Thank you. Sorry, my
Okay,
AirPod
good.
just fell out of my ear. I was saying, directing, acting, like, yeah, it's vibes, but also like it's a skill that you learn and develop over time, which I think is, you know, similar to all the arts. And I think that's another part of it, that like I've done a little theater. We did it in high school and college, like whatever. But like
I've seen your 2003 Tony opening spoof. 2013, sorry.
Shout out Spring Sing, Harding University. Yes, we did a version of Bigger, if you remember the opening with Neil Patrick Harris. But yeah, no, like I see both sides of it. Did your dad ever attempt to teach you pottery growing up? Were you ever interested in that at all?
Yeah, when I was young, because he would go different places and like demonstrate. He'd like go to a gallery or go to someplace like Tamarack in West Virginia, and which, if you're gonna go, highly recommend Tamarack. They have artisans from all over West Virginia. But he'd go to Tamarack and like and demonstrate, and then he'd like throw me on the wheel and like show me how to do like a little bowl or something. But I never got beyond that. Like okay. I could like center and make a little bowl, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But no.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah, both of my parents were nurses, so like the most they could have taught me was like, here's how to give an injection or like take your fever. So I'm always
the
interested
injection.
when people...
I would be worried about the legality of that, but
so true. To be clear, they never did. Yeah. They never taught me that. To be clear.
Yeah.
But it's just always interesting to me when people have like artistic parents and their like full-time job is making art of some kind. I'm like, oh, that's so different than how I grew up, and I think it's just always fascinating. You've also mentioned some siblings. How many are there, and where do you fall in the order?
Yeah, so I have 2 older siblings. Oh wait, this is a fun story. This is my favorite story. So I have 2 older siblings. I have a half brother and a half sister. And so my mom was married before, and my dad was married actually twice before my mom. But the first one, there were no children, so irrelevant to this conversation. And my mom, in her first marriage, had a son named John. And then my dad, in his first marriage, had a daughter named Anna. And then when they got married, they got pregnant with me. I was a surprise. I'm like 6 and 7 years younger than my siblings.
Okay.
And they were like, what the hell are we going to name this baby? I'm like, I don't know what to name this baby. And then my brother and sister were playing a computer game while my parents were like looking through a name book, and they were like, oh, what are we going to name this child? And it was like a computer game where you make recipes, and they made one together, and they were like, well, what are we going to name it since we both did it? And they were like, well, your name's John, my name's Anna, let's name it Joanna. And then my parents were like, that's the name.
I have heard this story before, but I don't remember the part about the computer game.
Yeah. Sometimes I leave it out for brevity's sake.
No, don't ever leave that. That is so funny. So are your siblings like proud that they named you? Do they ever like brag about that at all?
I think I'm the only one that brags about it.
I see.
Because I think it's fun.
It's very fun. That's very cool. And so what do your siblings do? Are they also artsy people?
Yeah. So my brother, he is a musician, and he also works at a place that I think he probably would not love if I said exactly where he works.
Copy.
But he works at a place similar to like the Ronald McDonald House. So like people who can't pay for housing while they're getting treatment, or a loved one of theirs is getting treatment, in the town where he works at the hospital, he helps at a place like that, which he loves doing. But also he is a musician, and he has undergrad and master's in music. Like he is a proper musician, and
Gotcha.
And is very, 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 very good. John Posey is his name. I don't think he has. He plays sometimes. I don't know. I can send you things that he has played
Perfect.
on.
Yes.
Because I don't want to misspeak, but yeah, I highly recommend. And then my sister appreciates art, loves art, definitely has complex feelings about art, but it does not work in art. She is very accomplished. She works at Carnegie Mellon for this organization that helps sorry, my brain just died.
I understand.
For this organization that like helps monitor air quality and and keeps track of like what polluters put into the atmosphere. So like if there's like a cracker plant, or if there's like a steel mill or something, they watch what comes out of the plumes to make sure it's like what they're legally allowed to put into the atmosphere and stuff.
Oh, so you just have a really cool family, Joanna. You just have like, that's so cool.
Yeah, she's cool. They do cool things.
Now, do you think you fall into the stereotypical youngest sibling traits vibes that we hear about?
I honestly no, because I was so much younger, and also I didn't live full time with my siblings. So by the time I was cognizant, my parents were divorced, and my sister lived like sometimes with her mom, and I didn't live with my dad. My mom was sick, and my mom passed away when I was young, so I didn't live with my mom. And I lived with my dad full time. So I would say I more fall into like some only child things, because I essentially grew up in the living situation that I had as a single child. But then I just have the pluses of having these relationships with these cool older people that are my siblings that I love.
Yes. To me, you give like oldest sibling. Like you, and I had someone else I was talking to. Oh, my friend Kindlen. She I would have guessed was also oldest sibling, and she isn't either, but I don't know what it is. Like as an oldest sibling, I feel like I can notice those things having three little sisters. So that's so interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I also grew up with a lot of old people. Like honestly.
Sure.
Like my dad was 47 when I was born. So he was like, I mean, older when I was growing up. And then I grew up with two 70 and 80-year-olds. And we were in like a semi-rural place where like there aren't kids around this like block to like, I mean, there were a couple kids here and there, but like that was like waning of like when there were kids and when there weren't.
Right.
And so like most of the time I was hanging out with old people. Yeah, and even with my mom, the time that I had with my mom, she was in treatment. So like I was again like being taken in and out of like, not for myself, but like taking in and out of hospitals and staying with family members. She was staying with my aunt. So like I was around adults. Like they weren't taking me to a lot of play dates. So I think just like being around a lot of adults as a kid can make you a weird person.
I wouldn't say weird. It's just like, it gives you a different perspective. Like it just, and you don't give the vibe either that you had to like grow up quickly. Like you don't feel like you're too mature, or like you just like, you are a very chill person. You have a vibe that is very calming, very like go with the flow, just like ready to just like be whatever the vibe needs to be, is kind of how anytime I'm with you, I'm just like, oh, we're ready to like do whatever needs to happen.
I honestly pride myself in that.
Okay, perfect. I was gonna say, do you feel that way about yourself?
Yeah, I think. Yes. I think like,
and this is like, I don't want you to like feel like you're this is just from knowing you for like 6 months now. Like that's just how I feel anytime I see you or I get to hang out with you.
Yeah. No, I think so. I mean, I think I've seen it. I work in a very stressful job. And I've been around people who are like, why are you chill right now? Like, what's happening? Oh, but also like internally, a lot of times I'm freaking out. So externally, I might be like, everything's fine. Everything's cool. And like internally, I'm like, I don't know how this is going to happen. Like, how are we going to make this? Or like, I'm thinking about job, like, how are we going to make this show work? I don't know, but I'm going to look really calm about it. So like that definitely happens. But my best friend, Adam Payne, who, I'm gonna shout out, he has a magazine called YNST, You're Not Seeing Things. It's an Appalachian arts and culture magazine. It's really cool. You should check it out. Lots of cool poetry and music, and they talk about musicians and journalism, like pieces about what's happening in the region.
Love.
You should check it out.
Perfect.
But anyway, Adam Payne, he calls me a grandma slug. Beautiful shout out into Grandma Slug. And because I'm just sometimes I can be a little bit like, not like mentally slow, but physically slow. I'm just like so chill that he's like, Joey, what are you doing?
A little faster, Fred. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Like a little too chill. Yeah. So
I love that. Grandma Slug. That's so good.
Yeah.
Do you have a story just about like New York City in general that kind of sums up your time here so far, or one that you always like to tell when you like see friends and family after a while?
The first thing that came to mind, which is kind of a random one, it's not one I tell a lot, but there was one time I had a Friendsgiving. I couldn't go home for Thanksgiving because of work, and I went to a friend's house in New Jersey, and we had Thanksgiving, and we were like, oh my god. I went with a friend who also lived in the city, and we were like, oh my god, it's so nice to leave the city, like, and like have Thanksgiving. This is beautiful community love. Oh my god, yay. It was beautiful. And then we take the bus back. We're at, what is it, the Port Authority. We walk out, and immediately there's someone like, what the, like screaming, and I think they were like trying to convert us or something, but also screaming at us. And immediately once we opened the door, and we were like, we're back in New York, this is it, like. So yes. I think like that is sometimes, but that being said, I think my hot take is I think New Yorkers are nice, even though maybe I guess you do get yelled at.
Sure.
But like when shit hits the fan, I feel like there are always people there, and if you're lost, people will help you. I think the only thing is like if you're walking slow, just move to the side. I think that's the only thing. Just move to the side, and people will love you. But if you just like walk in a clump slowly in the middle of a sidewalk, people will hate you.
Oh.
But
if you are coming to visit New York City with more than 2 other people, walk in a straight line behind one another until you get to your destination or can pull over out of the way.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Yes. But other than that very specific pet peeve that all New Yorkers have, I think New Yorkers are really nice. I think New York is a beautiful place. I think I ran into an actor I've worked with the other day at a rehearsal room. Or like I was in a rehearsal studio, and there are other rehearsal studios in the space, and he was working on another thing, and I ran into him. And I hugged him. I was like, oh my God, it's so nice to see you, blah, blah. And we were talking about, like, back to the community thing, how, like, I'm sure this is true for a lot of things in New York, but, like, it feels like a family. Like, it feels like the people that you work with, especially in a place where it's hard to live, and in an industry that's hard to, like, do, the people that you come in contact with, even if it's for like, I just worked on a project that's a week long versus a project that's, 4 weeks long versus people that I've worked together since college. Like, you create such a strong bond with people that when you see them, it's like seeing family. And then as you are here longer, you see family more and more. And you are part of that family now. Like the other day last night, I saw someone that was in a show I worked on and I squealed. I was like, ah, like I was like, oh my God, I just screamed. But like, that's how, like the joy of like, I had this intense experience with you, and then New York separated us, and we've been in the like waves of chaos that are here. And then when you see them, it brings about like maybe a more intense like joy when you see people that you love in this crazy place that is New York.
Yes. I did this with Mackenzie again. Just the other day, I was crossing through a crosswalk in Times Square heading...
Oh, and you came at her diagonally? Yeah, I heard about this.
She had her New York face on. Like, she, like, a coffee in each hand. I think she was headed back to the booth. Yeah. Coffee in each hand, New York face on, not paying attention. And so I, like... got in her way on purpose, and she looked up ready to like say something, and she was like and like changed completely. It was so funny. But yes, I've done that a couple times, like just randomly on the subway. Like you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, hi friend. And so like you get to catch up for 15 minutes until you again have to separate and go do your life. I've gotten to experience that a few times here in the city, and it's really, really special.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it probably happens more in smaller places, but there's something about, because like there are 8 million people, and then you just happen to run into this person that makes it special.
Absolutely. Well, Joanna, first question: were there any other stories you had thought about, or like that have popped into your head since we've been talking, that you wanted to share?
That I wanted to share. I don't think I want to. I mean, I know you're interviewing me, I guess. But
please, I'm here. We can go both ways.
But like, I want to hear something from you.
Oh, something from me.
That's such like a broad question. Like,
I just had chicken fries for a snack fries. For lunch, some protein before I
have
started
something.
this.
Do you have any fun stories from your new job?
Ooh, so I have been, for the last 3 months, I'm the merch manager at Hell's Kitchen the Musical on Broadway, the Alicia Keys musical. I think, one, it's just, I get to enter and exit through the stage door every day. And if you told like 15, 16-year-old Josh, who's like in a high school production of Hello Dolly, that one day he would be working at a Broadway theater, entering and exiting through the stage door, he like would not believe you. So that's been really special, and I tell people that, and they're like, yeah, that's really cool. And so it's just like, I feel really geeky when I say it out loud, but it's like, it's been a really special thing. So then kind of getting to see the inner workings of like how all of that side of things works. I hang out with the bartenders a lot. So like one thing I never thought of is at all the shows you go to, if there's an intermission, they sell for before the show and an intermission, but once intermission starts, they're like not allowed to sell anymore, and they get to go home. Whereas merch, we are there through the end of the show once everyone leaves. It didn't even cross my mind, but like the first night I was there, I was like, oh yeah, you guys leave like an hour before I do. Lucky dogs. Granted, you're interacting with people in a very different way. They are interacting with people in a very different way than I do. People are like wanting their alcoholic beverages, whereas they come to me and they're like, yeah, a t-shirt. Whereas like they want the alcohol, they want, and like they know how they want their drink made, and so like not jealous of it at all, like very thankful they deal with that. I'm trying to think if there is, have I told you the story of the two women that we heard fighting in the bathroom? No, the answer is no. Okay, great. Tell me. So this was probably like a month and a half ago now. At the Schubert in the lower lounge is where the merch is, or one of the merch stands is set up. And the biggest women's bathroom is down there. So that's where they send most people, especially if it's during the show. They'll send them down there to use the restroom. And we like been there now for 3 months. So like we've heard, just like weird, like I've heard people crying, people getting sick, like, it's 1,400 people in a space, like things are bound to happen from time to time. Yeah. But we hear this one woman, and she's like very upset, like crying. People have kind of gone in to check on her, and like nothing's really like helping. So another woman comes down eventually and goes in, and we hear her yelling all of a sudden, and we're like,
oh my God,
hello, like what's going on? And eventually security comes down and escorts them out of the bathroom, out of the building. And so I see our security later that night, and I'm like, hey, what was going on? Come to find out, these two ladies are married. One of them has found out the other cheated on her in their bed and then slept with her in their bed that same night. So I believe the cheated on
understandable marital dispute happening.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just so funny that it's happening at a Broadway show.
Yeah, like were you in the middle of the show that when you found out?
The show was actively happening above us.
Yeah.
Like we are hearing like, kaleidoscope. Like we're hearing Alicia Keys songs being sung, and this is happening downstairs. And come to find out, I believe the cheated on slapped the cheater. That's when security was like, hey, like, so, like we understand, but like you gotta go, like physical assault, we can't. You gotta go.
You can't have that. Yeah.
And then I'm assuming it was the cheater then still that stayed in the lobby downstairs with us and was calling different hotels to find a new room for the night.
Rough. That's
yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's probably the most exciting thing that's happened.
Yeah.
But truly, like, I will also give a shout out to the audiences that come to Hell's Kitchen. They come dressed to impress. Like, it is, because I feel like I usually just show up in like jeans and a t-shirt, or like whatever I'm wearing that day, especially if I've had work and then go. Our audiences come ready, like they are going to church, like they are walking a red carpet, like they look good. And it makes me smile so much every time. I'm like, yes, it's so cool. But just the fact that I'm working at a Broadway theater is just incredible. And I'm very much trying to not take it for granted. Because as we all in the theater industry know, shows can close in an instant. So it's very, very special. It's very, very cool.
And there's also something about like the history of those places.
Yes.
Like you should get Tim on and just ask him about history. Like Tim is the owner of the booth.
Yes.
Because he just holds so much knowledge on like the history of these places, the theaters. But my favorite thing is when I go to see a Broadway show, if you open up the playbill, there's always a page about like all the shows that have been there. And it's like, oh wow, like the original production of The Glass Menagerie was here. And like, I don't know. Or like, I don't know.
No, yes, it's
James Earl Jones performed on this stage, or like Al Pacino or Meryl Streep, or like, like
yes,
like wild people are like, oh, they've been in this room and like done amazing things, like, and it's in every single one. There's like some piece of history like that, and to be in a space like that, I'm sure every day is magical.
It's very cool, except that the building is so old. There's not an elevator.
Yikes.
So I do, where our storage is for all of the merch is 6 flights of stairs up. So I do, let me tell you, I get my steps in. I get my steps in. And then the patrons also are like, is there an elevator? And we're like, friend, I'm so sorry, there's not. You do have to climb at least one set of stairs, if not multiple, to get to your seats now. Enjoy the show.
Is the orchestra like accessible to people?
Yes, the orchestra is ground level.
Okay.
So you walk through the doors and you're there. I sell downstairs in our lower lobby, and down there is just a merch booth, men and women's restroom, and a bar. Everything else is up. So they're pretty, and they're very good about, like, I'm sure, making sure people can get where they need to be. But yeah, it's been very cool, very special. And I'm really I'm really liking it. It's a really neat job to share stories with, and just because some of the bartenders have been there for years and like all the theaters, and so it's been really cool.
That's one thing. Wait, I'm gonna go off of that really quick. That I can't officially call myself a New Yorker. I've only been here 4.5 years, but that's one thing that I feel like I've learned about people that I hope to have who have lived here longer is like the stories of people who live here are wild. And like also like when I'm around older people who have been here for a long time, they're like, yeah, when I don't know why Ethel Merman is the only person I can think of. Like when I ran into blah blah blah, and I have this story of blah da 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 da, and I'm like, what? Like it's the most scandalizing things, and I'm like, what you were in like, I don't know, on 5th and 37th in 1984, and you saw what? Like, there's like, or like someone who has like been at a job at a theater, like the ushers, I'm sure have wild stories. Sometimes the ushers will come by the booth and they'll talk to us about stuff, and I'm like, man, I want to go get coffee with you. Like, right. You've worked at, I don't know, the Lyceum for 40 years. Tell me everything.
What have you seen?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah.
Yes. It's never a dull moment. And it's so interesting, the array, and we see this at the booth too, but just the array of people that will walk into the theater. My favorite comment recently has been, this isn't about Gordon Ramsay? And I'm like, no, friends, the musical Hell's Kitchen, which I understand where you're getting that from, is unfortunately not a Gordon Ramsay musical. And I'm just like, you did zero research before you got these tickets, which I think, again, is honestly my favorite way to see a show, knowing nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I think I always have a bit of an inkling of what I'm going to see. Some of these people truly have no idea. And so I'm like, I hope you enjoy it. Like, I hope you have a good time tonight.
Wait, I have a really funny story.
Bring it on.
So I like to go into shows cold. And I like to go to readings. I like to go to free readings. 1, they're free. 2, you meet people and you see fun plays, like whatever. And I think it was Rattlestick, which is an off-Broadway company here, was having a reading series. And I was just like signing up for all of them. Like I was like, whatever is happening, like I'll go, whatever. And there was a few that I couldn't go to, whatever. So I ended up like popping in the middle of the reading series, and meaning like not in the middle of a show, but like in the middle of like, they have one night they have this, one night they have this, blah, blah, blah. And I missed the like first 2 nights or whatever. And so I was like, I'm just going to go to this one, whatever. I show up, it's a matinee, and there's like a woman on the stage with like a whiteboard. I'm like, okay, maybe it's like a one-woman show. Like, that's cool. Like, that happens. But the audience isn't that full. And, like, when it's a company like that, usually they, like, pull out their community. Like, usually there's, like, a kind of like, the people who have worked with this company for a long time, it's usually, like, kind of cool. Like, kind of, like, there's more people. And I was like, that's sad. Like, there's not that many people for this. Like, some people came in. I was like, okay, whatever. Yay. The vibes are kind of sad. And then she starts, and I realize she's a lawyer, and it's not a play, and it's for like people who are immigrants and who are trying to stay in the United States, like artists who are immigrants and who are trying to like keep their visas. But it's like such a small house and such a small amount of people. I'm like, if I walk out, it's gonna look like I'm like against immigrants or something, and I'm not. Like,
to be clear,
I'm not. But I'm like, I thought I was going to play, and so I was like, I have to stay here. And I had to listen to this, and I was like, I'll if someone asks, I'm like, what if, I'm like terrified, I'm like, what if they go around and they ask things to people? I don't know why I thought that never happens, but I was like, what am I gonna say? I can't say like I was born in West Virginia, like what am I gonna say? But I'm like, also all these people are sharing these like I'm like, oh, I got stressed because she was talking about all this like all the paperwork you have to do, and you have to make sure all your work is like published, and you have to have so many things, and she's talking about people who have Emmys who are denied for like talent, whatever the visas, and I'm like, oh my god, I was like, how can I stay here? Like, what am I gonna do? I'm fine, but I'm like, I was like secondhand stress. So all props go to the people who have to go through that process. My heart goes out to you. That sounds so stressful. But yeah, it was not a play. It was a presentation with the immigration lawyer.
Wow. Did you learn anything?
I did, but none of it was relevant to me.
And so, yeah.
It gave me empathy. That's what it did. It gave me empathy for people who have to go through that experience.
And again, welcome to New York City, where you can walk into a room thinking one thing and nope, you're getting a very different experience today. And like you said, there's only 8 of us here, so I do have to sit through this and hope that I'm not called on to answer any kind of questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Joanna, my last question always, why do you think storytelling is so important?
Oh, I think that storytelling is important because it's important to feel empathy for the people around you, but also the people who have lived before you and the people who will live after you. It's the experiences that we have are not unique, and it's important that we understand that, and we understand that the way we live is within a context of the world. When I watch Shakespeare, which we were talking about earlier, there inherently is an understanding that somebody 500 years ago felt the same thing that I did. They wondered, what does it mean to be alive? And what does it mean to be dead? To be or not to be? And that's something that I'm going to struggle with. And everybody, not just me, but like everybody. Or like to be jealous of somebody, or to be the idea that telling stories opens up a world into your experience, into your mind, or into someone else's experience, or into someone else's mind. And within that, you have to face their humanity and feel empathy for them. And when you feel empathy for them, and when you see their humanity, it's a lot harder to be hateful and hurtful to other people. Yeah. So I think it engenders empathy and humanity for the people around us, and gives context to the little bubble of time that we live in the larger sea of Earth.
Joanna, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's truly been my favorite question I've gotten to ask everyone. Just because it really, like, it just shows who we are as people. And like, everyone has had an amazing answer, and I love storytelling. God, I love storytelling. Joanna, this has been so much fun, and I'm sure we could probably do 3 more episodes and just chit chat all day long. But if we want to follow along with your story, why did I just kick my camera? If we want to follow along with your story and all of the amazing work that you're doing, how can we do that? Where should we go?
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Joana J. My name is hard, so I'm just gonna spell it. At Joana Joana _Tsuhlares Tsuhlares. And I also have a website, JoannaTsuhlares.com.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
and we'll have it all linked in the show notes in the comments, so it'll be a click away, everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, follow along. Lots of cool work to come. Oh, come see Titus.
Yes.
Yeah. And in the spring after that, I'm going to have a production of Gatsby that it's going to be in a bar. It's going to be really cool. That I'll be acting in. So if you want to see some acting, that'll happen in the spring. I don't have information for that, but if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you'll learn about tickets for that.
It will be there. Joanna, I adore you, friend. I'm so thankful that I get to call you a friend, and thank you so much for sharing your stories today.
Of course. I'm honored to be here and talk to you.